It's official, Aussie parents love classic baby names. That's according to fresh data that's revealed the top choices right around the country in 2025.
But as we enter a new year, will the classics stick or are parents looking to shake it up? Joining us to discuss is Nine Honey's Amy Lyle in the studio. Very good morning, Amy. Tell us, what were the top girls' names for last year?
Good morning. So the top girls' names, you obviously have the much-loved classics. We have Evelyn, Hazel, Grace, Charlotte and Lily. They're those kind of names that they have a little bit of that vintage vibe, but they are also names that will and have stood the test of time when it comes to girls. Obviously, Charlotte has been a firm favourite with parents, particularly since Kate and William named their daughter Charlotte all those years ago, and still so popular across, hospitals and preschools today.
Yeah, my younger sister had a daughter last year and named her Charlotte, so I can attest it is a very popular name.
Statistics are real.
I was disappointed to see that Lara's not in the top 5 baby names. What about boys' names? Any chance Michael's in there, by chance?
Look, Michael is a much-loved favourite, but it's not up the top. Oliver,
It's not that much love.
Somewhat loved.
There is a good thing with not having a name that is right up the top. So with boys, Oliver has once again taken the top spot. Oliver has been a favourite with Aussie parents for at least 2 decades now, so that is not going anywhere. You've got Henry, Noah, Levi and Elijah. So a lot of these names for boys as well. They do have a sort of biblical history to them, and that has been one of the things that, with boys' names in particular, we've found has kept them in the top charts. So they have that strength and they have a lovely meaning behind them too.
What about the names that, shall we say, are a little bit less popular or going extinct? Because I think of my grandparents, Mari and Roy.
Yeah.
You never really see any babies named Mari or Roy. What about those names?
Paul,
Well,
Peter.
funnily enough, it's the names that were big in the 80s and 90s, so the really millennial names. So for girls, it's names like Katie and Jamie, Remy, that Liv kind of name that would have been really popular, high school in the 80s.
Yes.
They're the ones that have been dropping off the most in popularity, and some of them by sort of a couple of hundred places in the ranks.
Oh, wow.
What about, sometimes there's unknown things you need to be aware of when you're naming your kids. What are some of the things that people are having babies in 2026, what do they need to be aware of?
I think the biggest thing you need to know is say the name out loud. So my husband and I did this a few times before we had our daughter, and there are a few names that could have opened her up to a lifetime of bullying. So,
Like what? Can you give us an example?
I think it's the ad with Callum with the last name Murray. So do you really want to name your son Callum Murray?
I love that ad.
And I think the biggest thing as well is if you have a name that you really love, do not tell us all, because baby names are the one thing that people will give you every opinion under the sun about. So if you really like something, keep it close to your heart until you have that baby.
I found as well, some friends will actually kind of veto the name. I remember, I won't name who the friend was, but she was
Name and shame, Lara.
She was like, Audrey is my name, hands off. No one else is going to be an Audrey. But the meaning of names is important too, because you were very pleased to tell me what the meaning of Michael is. Would you like to share it with
Who is
Amy?
like God.
That's what Michael means.
It's
God-like.
Hebrew origin. We were going to name our youngest Maverick, but we thought maybe you'd need to have a real robust personality, and there's no guarantee, but as it turns out, he could have handled Maverick for sure.
Amy, thank you so much. We've really done a deep dive on those
We
names
have,
this
thanks,
morning, and
Amy.
none of our names made the list. So there you go. Maybe we're like
We're special.
retro.
We're unique.
We definitely are.